Hello and welcome back to another video where we are playing Town to City again. We're sitting in front of our first 5 artisan houses that we just built out last episode. And this episode I plan to build out quite a few more artisan residences, and I've got something a bit special planned for them. If you've ever been to a city called Bath in the UK, you may have heard of the Royal Crescent. I'll put a picture up of it on the screen or a satellite image from Google Maps. You can see what I'm talking about, but it's this very famous crescent-shaped row of houses. And that is how I would like to try and build out our next lot of artisan houses here. The artisans are going to be demanding a certain amount of luxury, so we're going to be needing to build some more businesses, unlocking some more shops on the research menu as we go. But let's go ahead and start playing and see if we can plan out how we're going to build this. So I've got my eye on this little patch of ground over here to try and build our crescent in, partly because I think it will look quite nice looking over this lake and this park. Before I start, I am going to check what our request is, just in case we can incorporate it into our build in any way. Okay, so in that request, we've got a kid who wants a reading spot, and all he's requesting is a light, a tree, and a type of seating, and he apparently lives in here. So I'm actually just going to complete this one very easily by giving him a little bench in his back garden, perhaps this nice stone bench. There we go, and we've already managed to complete that one. And we got 250 money for that. Looks like we might have another request that we can unlock as well. Okay, it's the same boy, and he wants to create a reading spot for his book club, so this maybe is something we could incorporate into our new area. The crescent obviously curves round like a sort of blank piece of lawn in real life, but I think for the sake of the game it's going to be a bit more interesting for us to decorate up that lawn a little bit. I'm going to be able to move this reading area as soon as I want to, so I'm just going to pop it over here, and we may move it around depending on how we build these crescent houses. So first of all, I think we're going to need to move just a couple of trees out the way. And then I've drawn this path a little shakily, so let's see if we can neaten that up a bit. And I think that looks a little better, and now we're going to go ahead and want to draw our actual, I think, plaza path that we're going to be drawing these crescent houses from. There we go, I think that's a fairly good crescent to begin with. And we can move this little reading area just into the centre of that. Just before we start building, I am going to unlock a couple of research items because I want us to keep accruing points while we're building this crescent out. And the two things I would like to get for now, which we're going to incorporate into this episode, are this launderer, which provides a little bit of luxury, and this clockmaker, which also provides a little bit of luxury. And we will let our points restock. So let's get out our artisan houses, and I would like these to all be the exact same colour so we can get that uniform look that the crescent has. And I'm going to see if I can start placing these down as neatly as possible. There we go, I think that's looking pretty good for now. Give them a nice lawn, as you would expect. And perhaps we could place this clockmaker that we've just unlocked at one end of our crescent. I think that could look quite good just there as a kind of signature building almost. And it's too expensive, so I've got to wait a moment before I can place it. And there we go, we've got the money for it now, so we'll go ahead and pop that down. And I'll just make sure that all of these houses are just as close as we can get them to each other. There we go, that's looking a little bit neater. And let's see if we can decorate up this road a bit, perhaps with a few lampposts. Perhaps a little fancy fence coming along the front as well. There we go, and we need a few little pieces of seating to make this work. And we're also going to need a couple of trees. I wonder if a bush is going to work for this. No, it looks like it won't. It will have to be an actual tree, in which case we will use some small matching trees. And I'm struggling to find a way to place these all in that still makes them look good. I might need to shuffle these benches in a little bit. There we go, and I wonder if we can move this just to try and squeeze one extra light source into it. Perhaps actually if we place a couple of little lanterns on the houses behind, which I think I want to do anyway. There we go, that's looking better, and we've completed this task. And we won 250 coins and a little book nook for that. Now, another thing I would like to do is actually upgrade all of these houses so they're slightly taller, because you'll notice that the houses in the Royal Crescent are all quite tall. And I think that is gonna really add to the vibes over here. Now that is looking quite nice. So we've got our family here that wants to live in an artisan residence, so let's get someone in here, and then we can also get this regular family into a house as well. And then we can get some of them working at this clockmaker's. And these guys are complaining that they don't have enough luxury yet, so let's make sure we are building out our other luxury buildings. And for this to work, we're going to need a new warehouse, which I think we could build somewhere just along here. Let's build a big warehouse if we can. Yes, just somewhere around here, I think. There we go. We've got a few more people who want to move in, people who like light. This is definitely a good neighborhood for them. There we go, these people are now connected to their clockmaker, but they still need a little bit more luxury, so let's go ahead and build our other building we unlocked, which was our laundry building. I think that could hopefully also fit somewhere in here. Just like that, perhaps. Now, this laundry does apparently only have low range, so I might actually need to move it slightly closer to the houses we want it to benefit. I think we could build it more on the corner there and have a road coming out just here. Going somewhere up there. And this building is going to require some townsfolk to work in it. Let me go ahead and delete this rock, and then I think we could build a few townsfolk houses along here. And I'm thinking I might actually use these farmers' houses for this townsfolk area. Not for any particular reason apart from just we've used a lot of the other type of houses already in this area, so it's kind of nice to just keep it a bit fresh, really. And then we can move a few people in there as well. Now, these people are up to 9 out of 12 on their luxury, but they do need a little bit more. And I've got a family here who want to live near our house with some leisure nearby. And we have got this pub that provides 3 luxury that we placed in our old city, but we've not yet placed in this city. So I think that could be a good one to get in here as well. And the pub has quite high range, so I might build that just down the hill round here. And now that pub is built, we need to get a few people employed in there. And that has made most of these people pretty happy. Unfortunately, it doesn't register as being that close to the leisure buildings for this family, but I can move them into a house over here, so let's do that. These people want a house with multiple floors, so these should make them very happy. And they are now connected to a pub, a clockmaker, and a launderer. Looks like our luxury shoemaker has maxed out on its demand, so perhaps it's time to build another one of those. And I think that could be quite a nice one for the end of the crescent too, along with our clockmaker. Just like that. And that shoemaker will need some workers. And now, finally, everyone over here is fairly happy with 12 out of 12 luxury. We got there in the end. We can purchase one more thing, so why don't we go ahead and get this clock gate? And then we can let our research menu continue to fill up with points again. And in the meantime, we can upgrade from a small town. So let's do that. There we go, our city has been upgraded to stage 5. We've got a new need, which is public service, and we've got an even bigger research menu. And we've been offered a new request, so let's go and check out what that is. So we've been given a theatre poster, and this guy wants me to put up a bunch all around town. So let's go ahead and see where these might look good. Looks like one would fit quite nicely on the side of our opticians, just here. Perhaps on the side of our carpenters as well. I think one could look good on the pub over here. One could even look quite nice on this shoemaker. And perhaps over here on the launderer as well. There we go, we've completed that task. And we received 100 money for that. Another thing we did unlock was this little book nook from completing our previous task, so perhaps we could come and put one of these in our new little park. Just like that. I think it would be nice for these houses to have a few doorbells as well, perhaps not all of them because it's quite a chunky asset, but at least some of them. And I think I also want to put some window boxes up as well. There we go, that's looking quite nice. And our research points are racking up a bit. One thing I would quite like to get is this new money vault, so we're able to store more money all at once. And while we're here, I will also just go ahead and unlock these little clock decorations, of which there aren't many, but they are quite cute. And with that, I think we should go ahead and decorate up these townsfolk houses that we've put in. There we go, I think they're looking pretty good now. And I think we could also decorate out in front of this pub a bit like we did with the last one as well. There we go, that's a nice little pub garden for them to use. So another thing I think could look quite good in our little crescent is going to be this newspaper stand that we can now unlock. So let's go ahead and grab that, and that will be our first public service building, I believe, that we have unlocked just in here. And that could actually squeeze just in this spot right here, so why don't we go ahead and put it there. And then we could get a couple of people employed in there. And see if that satisfies a few of these people's need for public service. It does a bit. So I was wondering what we could put in the middle of this crescent, and I did have seen that we've unlocked this flower automation statue, which we haven't actually placed down anywhere yet. And perhaps that could be quite a good centerpiece. It's a little bit gaudy, but maybe I don't totally mind. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, I think that could be okay in the middle there. There we go, I think that looks alright. And we now also have enough research points to grab these autumn decorations, which I would really like to try and get in. And that has unlocked a bunch of stuff for us, which all looks really good. Perhaps we could use a little autumn hedge round in this area. There we go, that will help people stop falling off this cliff here. We've also got little mushroom patches, which I think could look quite cute in amongst our little foresty areas. And we also got these autumn trees, which I think are going to add a nice little dot of colour. So how about we go ahead and decorate up some gardens for these places. There we go, I love how those autumn trees look. And our opticians is another one where it looks like we've got triple the demand for the building that we have, so it looks like we could probably get away with building 2 more opticians very easily. So let's go ahead and place these somewhere a bit further away from the one we've already got. I think if I moved this rock, then we could have one just here. And I think we could also probably stand to place one over here near our shoemaker as well. Yep, and those opticians have immediately swallowed up all that demand, so that was a good choice. And we are totally full of research points again. And because this keeps happening, I think the sensible next thing to unlock could be a new bit of research equipment. So that means we'll be able to, store an extra 1,000 research points, which is pretty good. And I think I want to build this research centre over where we have our other research centres, where we've been building out a bit of a town square with them. So in order to make that look good, I think I'm going to need to redraw a few roads. There we go, I think that looks pretty good, and maybe we could just add in a few decorations into these new little squares we've created. There we go, I think they look pretty good. And we can fill this research centre up with some artisans. And now we should accrue research points very quickly. And we will need to wait to unlock the 4th research centre we can get in order to finish off that town square, but that is looking pretty good for the moment. So heading back over to our artisans over here, the only thing I can see where they have a kind of want unfulfilled, apart from some people with the service items, which we'll be doing next episode, is that a lot of them are missing food. And although we had a winery in our farming area, we do not have one here yet. And because we are producing grapes and we are able to share the grapes between our other town and this town, we can now place a winery down in this area as well if we want to. So I think that could be another quite good building to place along here. And then we can go ahead and get some workers in there. And we've actually completely used up the capacity of this warehouse that we built at the beginning of the episode. So I think we're going to need to build perhaps just one more small one that we could put on this corner here. Or even one more big one, seeing as it looks like it will actually fit quite well. And there we go. I think that is just about everything we want to do in this area for now. I am really happy with how this neighbourhood has turned out that we've built today. This is exactly the kind of aesthetic I was going for. And I think we'll be back in this town next episode as well to start looking at building out some more of the public service buildings that we've just unlocked, for which I think there are some really great detailing opportunities that we can make the most of. So with that, I would like to thank you so much for watching this video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do consider it, and maybe even giving the video a like if you enjoyed it as well. But for now, that's all. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.